Silent observers. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Confederation sparkled with the reflected light of 1,000 stars. Representatives from over 300 advanced civilizations gathered beneath its crystalline dome, their varied physical forms creating a living mosaic of galactic diversity. Some floated in specialized environmental chambers, others stood on multiple appendages, while the more humanoid species sat in ergonomic chairs crafted specifically for their anatomies. High Admiral Zextor of the Andromeda Collective spoke, his voice resonating through the chamber's perfect acoustics. His iridescent scales shimmered as he gestured toward the massive holographic display hovering above the central dais. "The Hive Collective has been successfully contained," he announced, mandibles clicking with pride. "Their expansion into Sector 17 has been halted, and their queenships have retreated beyond the Cygnus boundary. The Confederation fleet performed admirably." Approving murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Galactic Confederation had stood for 12,000 years, uniting the most powerful species across 5 spiral arms of the galaxy. Their military might was unquestioned, their technological superiority absolute. In a corner of the chamber, almost hidden in the shadows, sat the Earth Observer. Commander Ilara Chen watched the proceedings with outward calm, though her dark eyes missed nothing. As Earth's sole representative to the Confederation, she had spent the last 5 years documenting their technologies, strategies, and weaknesses. Information the Confederation never suspected would be used against them. "We now turn to minor reports," announced Zextor, his attention shifting to a smaller display. "The primitive species of Sol 3, designation humans, have advanced their propulsion systems to rudimentary interplanetary capability. The Observation Committee recommends continued monitoring, but no contact for at least another century." Several representatives chuckled, the sound translating through their communication devices as clicks and whistles. Commander Chen kept her expression neutral, even as her fingers tightened around the seemingly decorative bracelet on her wrist. "Their technology is laughably primitive," said Krelna, the tentacled representative from the Betelgeuse Dominion. "They still rely on chemical propellants and have barely established outposts on their neighboring worlds. Yet they fight among themselves constantly," added another delegate, this one a luminous cloud of particles contained within a hovering sphere. "Any species so intent on self-destruction poses no threat to galactic stability." Commander Chen tapped a subtle pattern on her bracelet, a quantum-encrypted transmission that traveled faster than light to Earth's hidden command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. "They still don't suspect. Proceeding as planned." The session continued, with matters of galactic importance discussed and decided without any input from the silent human observer. The Confederation had allowed Earth's presence only as a courtesy, a way to study what they considered an interesting but ultimately insignificant species that might someday, centuries hence, be worthy of full membership. What the Confederation didn't know, what Commander Chen had been sent to confirm, was that Earth had been listening for much longer than anyone suspected. 73 light-years from the Confederation's council chambers, deep within an unremarkable nebula that served as perfect cover, Admiral James Kincaid stood before his own tactical display. The bridge of the ESS Prometheus, Earth's flagship, was a study in efficient design. No wasted space, no decorative elements, just the most advanced technology humanity had secretly developed over the past century. "Commander Chen's report confirms it," Kincaid said, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the display. "The Confederation plans to sterilize the Orion arm to create a new trade corridor. Earth is considered an acceptable casualty." Strategic Director Amara Okafor nodded grimly. Timeline. Their fleet begins assembly in 6 months. The operation would commence approximately 3 months after that. The officers gathered around the display remained silent as the implications sank in. The Galactic Confederation, with its thousands of warships and technology centuries beyond what they believed Earth possessed, had casually decided to eradicate humanity for the convenience of faster shipping routes. "They still think we're limited to chemical rockets and primitive ion drives," said Kincaid, a cold smile forming. "They have no idea what we've built out here, or what we've learned from them," added Okafor. Beyond the viewports of the Prometheus, hidden by the nebulous swirling gases, floated Earth's true fleet. 500 capital ships, each more advanced than anything the Confederation suspected humans capable of building. For 70 years, ever since recovering a crashed Confederation scout ship in the Arctic, humanity had dedicated itself to a single purpose: survival in a galaxy that would show no mercy to the unprepared. While maintaining the appearance of slow technological progress on Earth and its neighboring planets, humanity had secretly established manufacturing facilities in distant star systems, mining operations in uninhabited regions, and research outposts beyond the reach of Confederation sensors. Every scrap of alien technology was reverse engineered, improved upon, and incorporated into Earth's hidden Armada. "Display the Confederation fleet deployments," Kincaid ordered. The hologram shifted, showing thousands of ships scattered across known space. Impressive, overwhelming even, but Kincaid had spotted patterns in their movements, weaknesses in their formations. They'd grown complacent, observed Chief Science Officer Lin Wei, studying the display. "They haven't faced a real threat in centuries. Their ships are powerful but predictable, and they have no idea we've been analyzing their communications, weapons systems, and shield frequencies for decades," said Okafor. "Our entire fleet is designed specifically to counter theirs." Admiral Kincaid straightened his uniform, midnight blue with silver insignia, the emblem of Earth's united military forces emblazoned over his heart. "Send the signal to all captains. Operation Thunderbolt commences in 72 hours. Back in the Confederation Council chamber, Commander Chen felt her bracelet vibrate against her skin, 3 short pulses followed by 1 long. The confirmation signal. She allowed herself a small, tight smile. For 5 years she had played the role of the humble observer, the grateful primitive allowed to witness the grandeur of galactic civilization. She had endured patronizing explanations of technologies Earth had secretly mastered decades ago, had listened to casual discussions about which developing worlds might need to be cleared for Confederation expansion. She thought about her parents, both killed when a small Confederation scout ship had accidentally discharged its weapons while observing Earth's moon colony. The official explanation: a tragic malfunction. The truth: discovered through intercepted communications, a deliberate test of human infrastructure resilience, with casualties dismissed as inconsequential. The council session was wrapping up, with Zextor making closing remarks about the Confederation's continuing prosperity and peace. Commander Chen rose from her seat, straightening the simple gray uniform that the Confederation had assigned to the human delegation, designed to mark her as an outsider, a lesser being still earning her place among the stars. As she moved toward the exit, Krelna intercepted her, tentacles rippling in what the translator indicated was an expression of amusement. "Tell me, human, does your species still dream of joining us someday?" the alien asked, voice modulator not quite hiding the condescension. Chen smiled politely. "We dream of many things, Representative Krelna. It must be fascinating, representing such a young species, to witness greatness that your kind might achieve in a millennium or two, if you survive that long." Chen nodded, maintaining her diplomatic facade. "Indeed, we're learning a great deal from the Confederation. More than you might imagine." "I'm sure," Krelna said dismissively. "Though I wonder if your kind has the capacity to truly grasp the complexities of galactic civilization. No offense intended, of course." "Of course," replied Chen. "We humans often wonder about our place in the universe, whether we'll be accepted as equals, or if we'll need to make our own way." Something in her tone made Krelna pause, tentacles stilling momentarily. But the moment passed, and the alien dismissed whatever fleeting concern had arisen. "A pleasant thought," Krelna said. "Your optimism is charming. If you'll excuse me, I have matters to discuss with the Regilian delegation." As the alien moved away, Chen touched her bracelet again, sending a final message. Returning to Earth, Prepare for my arrival and initiate final countdown." She made her way to the small shuttle that would take her to the Confederation transport hub. From there to board what they believed was Earth's most advanced starship, a vessel the Confederation considered barely capable of interstellar travel, permitted within their space only as a diplomatic courtesy. What they didn't know was that beneath its unremarkable exterior, the shuttle contained quantum communication systems, advanced sensors recording everything about Confederation defenses, and emergency phase shift technology that could remove it from normal space if threatened. As Chen's shuttle departed the Grand Confederation Station, she gazed out at the massive alien vessels surrounding it, warships larger than Earth's cities, bristling with weapons that could reduce planets to molten slag, science vessels containing technologies that manipulated the fundamental forces of the universe, massive colony ships carrying millions of beings to new worlds, an overwhelming force that had stood unchallenged for millennia. In 72 hours, they would learn the cost of underestimating humanity. The shuttle accelerated, leaving the glittering lights of the Confederation station behind. Commander Chen closed her eyes, mentally reviewing the battle plans she had helped develop. Earth's fleet was smaller, yes, but designed with a singular purpose: to strike with surgical precision at the Confederation's weakest points. For Earth, she whispered to herself as the stars streaked past the viewport. For all of us they deemed expendable. The awakening giant, High Admiral Zextor, was reviewing fleet deployment strategies in his private chambers when the first alarm sounded, a high-pitched, insistent tone that hadn't been heard in the Confederation Command Center for over 3 centuries. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded as his adjutant rushed in, scales paling with distress. "Unknown vessels, Admiral. Hundreds of them, appearing simultaneously at multiple Confederation outposts." "Impossible," Zextor hissed. "No known species possesses that capability. Display tactical feed immediately." The wall before him transformed into a massive view screen, showing feeds from a dozen Confederation strongholds across the galaxy. What Zextor saw made his blood run cold: sleek, angular vessels of unfamiliar design, emerging from what appeared to be artificial spatial rifts. They were gunmetal gray with blue energy signatures pulsing along their hulls, and they moved with a precision that suggested highly advanced navigational systems. "Identification," he demanded. "None, sir. They're not broadcasting any recognized signatures." However, the adjutant paused, mandibles clicking nervously. "The energy readings are consistent with technology derived from Confederation designs." "That's absurd. Who would dare?" His question was answered as every communication channel in the Confederation network simultaneously activated, overriding security protocols that had been considered impenetrable. On screens across thousands of worlds and ships, a human face appeared. Admiral James Kincaid gazed out at the stunned Confederation, his expression resolute but not triumphant. "This is Admiral James Kincaid of the Earth Defense Fleet. For decades, your Confederation has watched our world, judging us primitive, unworthy of respect or consideration. You've tested weapons in our space, casually discussed our eventual displacement, and recently planned our extermination to make way for a more convenient trade route." Zextor's scales flared in shock. How could they possibly know about the Orion Corridor project? Those plans were restricted to the highest levels of the Confederation. "We come not in anger," Kincaid continued, "but in self-preservation. The Earth fleet now holds position at key Confederation installations across the galaxy. We have no desire for war, but neither will we accept annihilation. We request immediate dialogue with the Confederation Council regarding our status and future relations." The transmission ended, leaving Zextor staring at tactical displays showing hundreds of unknown vessels, human vessels, positioned at the most vulnerable and strategically important locations in Confederation space. They had appeared simultaneously, bypassing early warning systems and defensive grids with apparent ease. "Sir," his adjutant said quietly, "the Council is convening an emergency session. Your presence is requested immediately." Zextor nodded absently, still trying to process what he was seeing. The primitives from Sol 3 had somehow built a fleet that could challenge the Confederation. More disturbing still, they had discovered technological principles that the Confederation's scientists had deemed beyond human comprehension for centuries to come. "How?" he whispered. "How did we miss this?" Commander Ilara Chen stood on the bridge of the EFSO's Prometheus beside Admiral Kincaid, watching the tactical display as it tracked reactions across the Confederation. Their strategy had worked perfectly. Simultaneous emergence at critical locations, bypassing defensive systems using the very communication frequencies the Confederation had considered secure. "The Betelgeuse Defense Fleet is powering weapons," reported the tactical officer. "They're moving to engage our squadron there." Chen nodded. As expected. The Betelgeuse Dominion has always been the most aggressive faction within the Confederation. "Squadron 7, you are authorized to demonstrate capability Alpha," Admiral Kincaid ordered calmly. "Minimal casualties, if possible." On the tactical display, they watched as the Confederation vessels at Betelgeuse, 15 capital ships with escort craft, moved to intercept the 5 Earth vessels stationed there. Energy readings showed the aliens charging their primary weapons, preparing to destroy what they still believed were inferior craft. The Earth ships waited until the Confederation fleet had fully committed to their attack vector, then activated their phase shift drives. To the astonished Confederation crews, the human vessels simply vanished, reappearing instantly behind their formation. Before the alien ships could react, precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses swept through their systems, temporarily disabling their weapons and propulsion without causing permanent damage. In less than 30 seconds, the entire Betelgeuse defense fleet was drifting powerless in space, their crews unharmed but utterly defeated. Similar scenarios played out across the galaxy as other Confederation forces attempted to engage the human vessels, each encounter ending with the same result: swift, efficient neutralization with minimal destruction. "Confederation Council is requesting direct communication," announced the communications officer. "There, they sound rather desperate, sir." Kincaid exchanged a glance with Chen. "This is proceeding faster than anticipated." "They've never faced this situation before," Chen replied. "Total strategic surprise from a species they dismissed as primitive. Their entire worldview is collapsing." "Put them through," Kincaid ordered. "Main screen." The view screen flickered, revealing the Confederation Council chamber in disarray. Representatives argued loudly, while others sat in stunned silence. At the center, High Admiral Zextor attempted to maintain order. "Human vessels," he began, his usual confidence notably diminished. "You have committed acts of aggression against the Galactic Confederation. Cease your operations immediately and withdraw to your home system 4. "Admiral Zextor," Kincaid interrupted calmly. "I believe you misunderstand the situation. We have disabled, not destroyed, your ships. We have caused no casualties. This is not aggression but a demonstration, one made necessary by your Confederation's plans to sterilize our region of space." Murmurs spread through the council chamber as many representatives turned accusingly toward Zextor and his inner circle. "Preposterous," Zextor countered, though his scales had paled noticeably. The Orion Corridor development would have proceeded with full respect for established worlds. Commander Chen stepped forward. "The Confederation's internal communications suggest otherwise, Admiral. Would you like me to share the relevant transmissions with the full council?" A tense silence fell over the alien representatives. "How did you achieve this level of technology?" asked a Regilian scientist, their crystalline form vibrating with what might have been excitement or fear. "Your world has shown no evidence of such advancement." "Because we chose not to show it," replied Kincaid. "Ever since your scout ship crashed in Earth's polar region 70 years ago, we've understood our position in the galaxy. A small, resource-rich world in a strategic location, inhabited by a species you deemed too primitive to respect, but too potentially troublesome to ignore. So we presented what you expected to see," added Chen. Slow, plodding advancement, petty internal conflicts, unsophisticated space exploration, all while we built and prepared elsewhere, beyond your sensor networks. The implications sank in across the council chamber. The humans had not only advanced far beyond expectations, but had systematically deceived the entire Confederation for decades. What are your demands? Zext, Tor finally asked, his voice tight with suppressed rage. Not demands, Kincaid corrected. Proposals. First, immediate cessation of the Orion Corridor project in its current form. Second, recognition of Earth and its colonies as a sovereign territory, with all the protections afforded to Confederation founding members. Third, a formal investigation into previous instances of Confederation interference in human affairs, including weapons testing that resulted in human casualties. Before Zextor could respond, the massive view screen in the council chamber split to show a new feed, one coming from the edge of Confederation space. A spatial rift, larger than any seen before, was forming near the central administrative world of the Confederation. Through this vast opening in space emerged a single Earth vessel, but one that dwarfed even the Prometheus. Its hull was dark, almost black, with pulsing blue energy signatures that suggested power beyond anything the Confederation had encountered. This, said Kincaid quietly, is the EFS Avalon, our flagship, currently positioning itself within strike range of your administrative center, carrying weapons that could reduce it to atoms in seconds. The council chamber erupted in panic. Representatives shouted for immediate military response, for surrender, for negotiation, a cacophony of fear and confusion. We don't want to use it, Kincaid continued once the noise had somewhat abated. We don't want conflict at all. Humanity wishes to live in peace, to trade, to learn and grow alongside the other species of this galaxy. But we will not be eliminated for convenience, and we will not be treated as inferiors. Zextor stared at the human admiral, his ancient eyes finally seeing the species from Sol 3 clearly for the first time. You've been planning this for decades, he said, not a question, but a realization. Since your scout ship killed 27 of our people testing its weapons over our Arctic, Chen confirmed. We recovered enough technology to understand what we faced. The rest we developed ourselves. A new representative pushed forward through the council chamber, Krillina, the Betelgeusian who had so condescendingly dismissed Chen only days earlier. This is an outrage, the alien bellowed, tentacles whipping in agitation. These primitives threaten us with stolen technology, demand concessions under duress. Technology we improved upon, corrected Chen coldly. Your phase shift drives can't achieve positions this precise. Your electromagnetic weapons can't disable targets without destruction. And your quantum communications can't penetrate your own security protocols. The implication silenced Krillina instantly. Humanity hadn't merely copied Confederation technology. They had advanced it beyond current Confederation capabilities. How many other vessels like the Avalon do you possess? Asked a Centaurian representative, their voice modulated to hide fear. That information remains classified, Kincaid replied smoothly, as does the full extent of our fleet's capabilities. We prefer to maintain certain strategic advantages, given the Confederation's demonstrated willingness to eliminate species it considers inconvenient. Another uncomfortable silence fell over the council chamber. We will need time to consider these proposals, Zextor finally said, attempting to regain some authority. You have 12 hours, Kincaid responded, during which time our vessels will remain at their current positions. Any aggressive action against them will be met with proportional response. The communication ended, leaving the bridge of the Prometheus in silence. The tactical display continued to track Confederation movements across the galaxy, ships repositioning, defense systems activating, but no direct engagement yet. Do you think they'll agree? Asked Strategic Director Okafor, who had remained silent throughout the exchange. Kincaid turned to Chen. Commander, you've studied them longer than any of us. Chen considered for a moment. They're arrogant, but not stupid. The Betelgeusians and some others will push for immediate military response, but the majority will recognize the strategic reality. We've demonstrated capabilities they didn't think possible, positioned forces they can't easily counter, and revealed knowledge of their internal communications they thought secure. She paused, remembering countless Confederation meetings where humans were dismissed, ignored, or discussed as mere curiosities. More importantly, we've shattered their fundamental assumption about us, about humanity's place in their galactic hierarchy. That psychological blow may be more significant than our tactical advantage. Kincaid nodded slowly. And if they choose conflict? Chen's expression hardened. Then we implement Thunderbolt Phase 2. But I don't think it will come to that. The Confederation has survived 12,000 years by adapting to new realities. This is simply a reality they never anticipated. The bridge fell silent again as the officers contemplated what they had set in motion. Centuries of Confederation dominance challenged by a species that, until hours ago, had been considered barely worth monitoring. 12 hours, Kincaid said finally. All ships maintain positions and alert status. Let's hope the Confederation makes the wise choice. Outside the viewport, stars gleamed against the infinite black. Among them, invisible at this distance but present nonetheless, Earth's hidden fleet waited. Humanity's silent guardians, now revealed to a galaxy it would never again underestimate the species from Sol 3. A new order, 11 hours and 43 minutes after Admiral Kincaid's ultimatum, the Confederation made its decision. Not with formal communication, but with action. Multiple spatial rifts forming, reported the Prometheus's sensor officer, her voice tense. Configuration suggests Confederation heavy assault carriers. They're deploying across all sectors. On the tactical display, red markers bloomed like deadly flowers as hundreds of Confederation warships emerged from faster-than-light transit. Each formation positioned itself near an Earth vessel, weapons systems powering to maximum capacity. Admiral Kincaid observed the developments with outward calm, though his jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Status of the Avalon. Maintaining position near the administrative center, sir. Confederation forces are forming a perimeter but keeping their distance. It appears they've chosen poorly, murmured Strategic Director Okafor. Commander Chen stepped closer to the display, studying the Confederation deployments. Something about their positioning struck her as odd, not fully aligned with standard Confederation battle doctrine she had observed during her years of study. This isn't right, she said quietly. The formations are defensive, not offensive. And look at the energy signatures, shields at maximum, but weapons cycling at minimum charge. A bluff? Kincaid asked. No, Chen replied, certainty growing. A compromise. At that moment, the communications officer straightened. Incoming transmission from the Confederation Council. Priority channel. On screen, ordered Kincaid. The view screen illuminated to show not High Admiral Zextor, but a different figure, an ancient being with translucent skin through which complex patterns of light pulsed slowly. Elder Narake of the Arcturus Collective, one of the founding species of the Confederation, and known for their measured diplomacy. Admiral Kincaid of Earth, the Elder began, their voice resonating with harmonics that suggested great age and wisdom. The Confederation Council has deliberated on your demonstration and subsequent proposals. And your response, Kincaid prompted when the Elder paused, is both acceptance and caution. We acknowledge humanity's right to exist free from threat of elimination. The Orion Corridor project will be redesigned with Earth's territory inviolate. An investigation into past interactions with your species will commence immediately. Kincaid and Chen exchanged glances. This was more cooperative than they had expected. However, continued Narakai, the Confederation cannot and will not negotiate under threat of force. The deployment you observe is not intended to challenge your vessels, but to establish boundaries. We will not fire unless fired upon. We propose simultaneous de-escalation. Your fleet returns to Earth space, while our vessels return to their standard patrol routes. And Earth's status within the Confederation? Chen asked, stepping forward. The Elder's luminous eyes shifted to her. Ah, Commander Chen, your role in these events has not gone unnoticed. As for Earth's status, full membership is offered, with all attendant rights and protections. Admiral Kincaid considered the offer, aware that the next moments would define humanity's place in the galaxy for generations to come. The tactical advantage they currently held might never come again. If the Confederation was being deceptive, retreating now could be disastrous. A gesture of good faith would be appropriate, he said finally, as demonstration of the Confederation's sincerity. Narakai inclined their heads slightly. What do you propose? Immediate access to the Confederation's central database, not the limited version offered to observational members, but the complete knowledge repository available to founding species. The Elder was silent for a long moment, internal lights pulsing more rapidly in what Chen recognized as their equivalent of intense thought. This is unprecedented. Such access has never been granted to a species so new to the galactic community. Consider it reparation for the lives lost to Confederation weapons tests in our system, Chen suggested, her voice taking on an edge that made several council members visible in the background shift uncomfortably. After another pause, Narakai nodded slowly. It shall be done. Transmission of access protocols will commence immediately following mutual stand-down of forces. One additional condition, Kincaid added. The Earth fleet remains intact, under Earth's sovereign control. We will not disarm or reduce our capabilities. This demand clearly unsettled the Council more than any other. Murmurs could be heard in the background, and Zextor stepped forward as if to object. But Narakai raised a hand for silence. Agreed, the Elder said finally. Though we request transparency regarding fleet movements beyond your home system. Reasonable, Kincaid acknowledged. We accept your terms. Stand down will commence in synchronized fashion, beginning 30 minutes from now. The communication ended, leaving the bridge of the Prometheus in contemplative silence. Did we just win? Asked Chief Science Officer Lin Wei, voicing what many were thinking. We avoided annihilation, Kincaid replied carefully. Whether that constitutes victory depends on what happens next. Commander Chen turned to face her fellow officers. They're rattled. The Confederation operates on a foundation of technological superiority and predictable power dynamics. We've upended both in the span of a few hours. They'll be studying us more carefully now, Okafor pointed out, looking for weaknesses, developing countermeasures. Let them, Kincaid said, his expression hardening. Humanity thrives on challenge. We built all this while they were watching us, thinking us primitive. Imagine what we'll achieve now that we don't have to hide. 3 months later, Commander Ilara Chen walked through the same Confederation Council chamber where she had once sat as a silent, overlooked observer. Now, representatives from a dozen species nodded respectfully as she passed, some even moving aside to clear her path. The Earth delegation no longer occupied a shadowed corner, but held a prominent position near the central dais. And instead of the simple gray uniform that had marked her as an outsider, Chen wore the midnight blue and silver of Earth's united forces, with additional insignia indicating her new role as Earth's diplomatic liaison to the Confederation. High Admiral Zextor approached, his movements stiff with what might have been reluctance or residual anger. His scales had lost some of their luster in recent months, perhaps from the stress of adapting to humanity's unexpected emergence as a major power. Commander Chen, he greeted formally. The council session will begin shortly. I understand Earth wishes to present a proposal regarding the defense of the Perseus Arm. That's correct, Admiral, Chen replied. Our surveys have detected anomalous energy signatures that may indicate previously unknown threats. We believe a joint security initiative would benefit all Confederation members in that region. Zextor's mandibles clicked, a sound Chen had learned to recognize as skepticism. How curious that these anomalies were not detected by Confederation sensors. Chen smiled politely. Perhaps your sensors weren't looking in quite the right way. Humanity has developed certain, specialized detection methods over our years of cautious existence. The implication hung between them. Earth still possessed technologies and capabilities unknown to the Confederation. Whether this was entirely true was irrelevant. The perception alone carried significant diplomatic weight. "I see," Zextor said after a moment. "The Council will of course give Earth's proposal full consideration." As the Admiral moved away, Chen felt a presence beside her. Krelna of the Betelgeuse Dominion, once her most condescending critic, now regarding her with a complex mixture of wariness and grudging respect. "Your species continues to surprise, Commander," the tentacled alien commented. "Many believed your sudden revelation of power was a one-time gambit, that humanity had shown all its cards at once." "A common misconception about humans," Chen replied. "We rarely show all our cards at once." "So I'm learning," Krelna acknowledged, "though I remain curious about one thing, if you'll permit the question." Chen inclined her head slightly. "Ask." "You could have struck decisively while you held tactical advantage. The Avalon alone could have crippled our administrative center. Yet you chose negotiation, compromise. Why?" It was a question Chen had anticipated, one that revealed much about the fundamental differences between humanity and many Confederation species. "Because destruction is easy," she answered. "Building something lasting is harder and more worthwhile. Earth didn't develop its fleet to conquer or punish, but to ensure we would have a voice in shaping our future." Krelna's tentacles rippled thoughtfully. "An interesting philosophy. Whether it proves wise remains to be seen." "All of history remains to be seen," Chen countered. "That's what makes it worth experiencing." Their conversation was interrupted by the ceremonial tones announcing the start of the council session. Chen took her place with the Earth delegation, alongside the scientists, diplomats, and military officers who now represented humanity's interests in the galactic community. As the session began, she found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. From forgotten backwater to galactic power in one bold stroke. From silent observers to active participants in shaping the destiny of countless worlds. The Avalon remained in Earth orbit, its capabilities still largely mysterious to the Confederation. The rest of Earth's fleet maintained regular patrols through human territory, while continuing to develop technologies that even the most advanced Confederation species might envy. But the greatest strength of humanity, Chen believed, wasn't in their ships or weapons. It was in their adaptability, their willingness to learn and evolve, qualities that had allowed them to study their would-be destroyers and not only match their technology, but improve upon it. Elder Narakai approached the central dais, their luminous form casting gentle patterns across the chamber. "Today we discuss matters that affect all corners of our shared galaxy," the ancient being began. "First among them, the Earth proposal for joint security operations in the Perseus Arm." As the Elder spoke, a subtle alert vibrated against Chen's wrist. A message from Earth Command, flagged for her eyes only. She glanced down discreetly. "Long-range sensors have confirmed anomalous readings in Perseus. Exactly as you predicted. Diplomatic approach authorized, but Avalon moves to standby alert status. Trust, but verify." Kincaid. Chen allowed herself a small smile as she returned her attention to the council proceedings. The message confirmed what she had suspected for months. Something was stirring in the Perseus Arm, something that even the Confederation's extensive sensor networks had failed to detect. But humanity, with its hard-earned paranoia and specialized detection systems, had noticed. This time, Earth wouldn't face a potential threat alone. This time, they would stand with allies. Cautious allies, perhaps, but allies nonetheless. "Commander Chen," called Elder Narakai, "would you please present Earth's findings to the Council?" Chen rose, feeling the eyes of hundreds of alien representatives upon her as she approached the central dais. The holographic display awaited her input, ready to show the detailed sensor readings that had detected what might be the next challenge facing the galaxy. 3 months ago, She had sat in shadows while alien politicians casually discussed Earth's eventual destruction. Now she stood in the light, respected if not entirely trusted, her voice carrying weight in decisions that would affect trillions of lives across thousands of worlds. "Honored representatives," she began, activating the display with a gesture. "Earth brings this matter before the Council not as a threat, but as an opportunity for the Confederation and humanity to demonstrate what we can achieve together." The hologram blossomed above the chamber, showing the swirling stars and nebula of the Perseus arm, with subtle highlights indicating the anomalous energy signatures Earth had detected. As the representatives leaned forward to study the display, Chen caught High Admiral Zextor watching her with a calculating expression. The Admiral's opinion of humanity had shifted from dismissive condescension to wary respect, but Chen knew he, like many in the Confederation, was still adapting to the new reality. The silent observers had found their voice, and the galaxy would never be the same. "What Earth proposes," Chen continued, her voice clear and confident, "is not just a defensive initiative, but a new framework for cooperation, one based not on age or tradition, but on innovation and shared purpose." As she outlined Earth's proposal, Chen thought about the long journey that had brought humanity to this moment. From recovering a crashed alien ship in the Arctic, to building a hidden fleet capable of challenging the most powerful force in the galaxy, to standing here as equals among the stars. They had revealed themselves not out of pride or aggression, but out of necessity. Faced with extinction, they had chosen to fight for their place in the universe, and in doing so, they had changed the course of galactic history. The representatives of the Confederation listened attentively as Chen spoke, some with enthusiasm, others with reservation, but all with the knowledge that underestimating humanity was a mistake none of them would make again. Outside the council chamber, beyond the gleaming spires of the Confederation capital, Earth's ships maintained their vigilant watch, not as conquerors, not as subjects, but as guardians of a future where humanity would forge its own destiny among the stars. The silent observers had awakened, and the galaxy trembled not with fear, but with possibility.